In Washington tonight, there is no sign of an agreement on immigration reform or on a government spending deal to beat a looming deadline. Instead, much of the focus remains on what President Trump said and did at a White House meeting last week. Lisa Desjardins begins our coverage.
Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give before the committee will be
under oath? Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen again pushed back at charges that the president ever uttered a specific profanity to describe Haiti and African countries.
I did not hear that word used, no, sir.
But she didn't answer directly if he might have said something similar, instead saying there was strong and impassioned language. Democrat Dick Durbin, who was also in last week's meeting, pressed her.
What was that strong language?
Let's see. Strong language, there was, apologies, I don't remember specific word. What I was struck with, frankly, as I'm sure you were as well, was just the general profanity that was used in the room by almost everyone.
Did you hear me use profanity?
No, sir. Neither did I.
New Jersey Democrat Cory Booker fired back, questioning Nielsen's honesty.
The commander-in-chief, in an Oval Office meeting, referring to people from African countries and Haitians with the most vile and vulgar language. The language festers. When ignorance and bigotry is allied with power, it is a dangerous force in our country. Your silence and your amnesia is complicity.
President Trump himself today was meeting with the Kazakh president, but was pressed on a different detail from last week's meeting.
Mr. President, did you say that you want more people to come in from Norway? Did you say that you wanted more people?
Thank you very much.
Is that true, Mr.
Thank you
President?
very much. I want them to come in from everywhere, everywhere.
This as Congress and the White House try to reassemble talks over DACA recipients, people brought to the U.S. illegally as children. As part of that, North Carolina Republican Thom Tillis defended the president's push for more border security.
I, for one, think that we have to have a balanced proposal, a compromise that solves and addresses the DACA problem in a compassionate, sustainable way. But we also have to understand we need to be compassionate in terms of the threat to our community and to our homeland by not securing a border. And you can only do that when people lower the temperatures and recognize that securing the border is an absolutely appropriate request as we're solving the DACA problem.
And this immigration battle has direct connection to the latest government spending showdown. Congress must pass another funding bill by the end of the week or government will shut down. Issue 1, the Senate, where a spending bill will likely need 60 votes, meaning some Democratic votes. But Democrats say first they need a deal on DACA in the spending bill. Issue 2, the House. Without any Democrats to pass the spending bill there, Republicans would have to get the 218 votes they need from their members only. And many Republicans have said they don't want to vote for any more short-term spending bills. Outside the hearing room, a key character in all of this, South Carolina Republican Lindsey Graham spoke to reporters. He insisted that the president was on board a DACA deal last Tuesday and at 10 a.m. Thursday, but changed 2 hours later.
Yeah, I think somebody on his staff gave him really bad advice between 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock on Thursday. I think the president I saw on Tuesday is the guy I play golf with. They actually like the guy. He's actually funny. I thought he commanded the room. And the conversation at 10 o'clock on Thursday was pretty consistent with the guy I saw Tuesday. But here's what's going to matter. How does it end? How does it end? Does it end with the government shutting down? We should all be kicked out if that happens.
Add to the political storm, rolling protests from DACA recipients and others erupted on Capitol Hill today, with police and other sources expecting those to only grow.
And Lisa joins me now. Lisa, what a day. You were up on the Capitol all day. So where do things stand right now in the Senate efforts to work with the White House?
All right, so Senator Dick Durbin told me that he will unveil legislative text of this kind of Gang of Six bipartisan bill tomorrow. Senator Graham, his partner in those talks, told me he is trying to woo Republicans and that he is open to try and toughen it, maybe with some kind of guarantees of how they could deport felons, for example. He's thinking about that. Now, will this all lead to a shutdown? Will Democrats withhold their votes in the Senate if they don't get a DACA deal? One senator, Sheldon Whitehouse, told me if they think there's progress, maybe then they could support a funding bill. But right now, they don't see that progress.
So you're telling me, Lisa, what you're picking up is that things seem to be moving in a more conservative direction in all this?
Yes, and I think that's because of what the president said last week and its effect on the House. The president's remarks were essentially a boulder to a very fragile compromise trying to be built on the House side. Now, instead of them talking about this kind of Durbin-Graham compromise, what I heard from a House source today, someone who's generally pretty moderate, they said that deal is not possible because they said a DACA path to citizenship is something they won't accept. That used to be middle ground. So if that, in fact, is really where the lines have changed, the two sides are very far apart. Now, also, Mark Short from the White House met with House Republican number 2, Kevin McCarthy, today. That's the White House signaling, hey, we're working with the House. They're not reaching out to the Senate. So we see that divide right now.
And on the spending bill, you're hearing House Republicans thinking of adding something to that.
Right. So if the DACA impasse is too great and they have a real problem there, how do they pass a spending bill? House Republicans tonight will talk to their conference about adding a 6-year extension of the CHIP, Children's Health Insurance Program. That's something many people want. And also, listen to this, Judy, a 5-year repeal of the medical device tax. That's something that Republicans have disliked for many years. It was part of the Affordable Care Act. They may add that as a sort of sweetener to pass a short-term funding bill. But can any of this work? It's unclear. Tonight, I think, Judy, we're actually closer to a government shutdown, but it's Tuesday. And I think that, honestly, if you read how these things work, really it's Wednesday and Thursday that matter the most.
Things are changing almost hourly.
Yes, they are. That's right.
Lisa Desjardins, thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Also today, the Trump administration appealed a federal judge's ruling that blocked the president's decision ending the DACA program. It is also asking the U.S. Supreme Court to review the issue, even before the appeals court rules. Tomorrow, I will talk with Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois about this immigration debate and about President Trump's comments.